where the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Thursday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And what a gorgeous day yesterday turned out to be. This morning, not too bad either.
Yeah, and again, when it comes to rainfall, models have backed off a little bit on the timing, so what would have been a rainy morning is now possibly just a rainy afternoon. So the morning, maybe not too bad. Here's a look at your forecast in a minute. We first take a look right now at the latest conditions all across central New York. We begin here in downtown Utica. It's a pretty nice scene out there. Blue skies, a few mid to upper level clouds, and more importantly, temperatures in the mid 50s. So certainly a comfortable start to your day today. What are we tracking? Well, we have rain arriving this afternoon. It's going to take a little bit to get here, and with it runs a risk of a few passing showers and thunderstorms, so we'll keep a close eye on that. Plus, we'll talk about the opportunity, the very low opportunity for some of these storms to turn on the strong side. As of now, we do have a nice weekend ahead, not entirely dry. I'll explain where the isolated rain risk is possible. And then, of course, following that, we do have some summer heat on the way. Along with that high temperature, we're, of course, going to see that humidity begin to return. So today, again, temperatures climbing into the mid-70s. You can see here that rain arriving in the afternoon. We'll have a detailed look at that arrival time, what to expect for that rainfall, and again, what follows as we head into the rest of the week and into the weekend straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Closing arguments are
Know before they go. The Storm Tracker 2 bus stop forecast.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to Sunrise. Time now is 5:11. Here's a look at what you can expect with your weather on the way. And we begin with a look at the conditions over the next couple of days, which, at least starting today, favors a few showers and thunderstorms. More storm chances the farther south and west you go. Here's that approaching system. It rolls through. Overall, not a washout today, but just a heads up closer to the evening that it's going to get a little bit on the damp side. After this front rolls through, we actually dry up for the most part on Friday. And heading into Saturday, still looking pretty dry. We do run the risk of an isolated shower, mainly in the highest elevations in the Adirondacks. So just a heads up for that. Now in the long range, you can see what's happening here. A lot of dark reds, right? That we have a heat dome taking place over much of the eastern half of the U.S., which is going to influence our weather, not so much with the heat. We are going to get very warm and much more humid. But we're going to closely watch this storm track. Basically, we're in a unofficial ring of fire. Basically, all these showers and storms could glide along the top edge of that high pressure system, and that's what we'll be closely watching next week. But again, when it comes to the weekend forecast, no major changes. I did increase an isolated shower chance Saturday, but again, very, very isolated. I'll in fact show you how isolated that rain chance is coming up in just a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Well, strike up the band. It was a
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. What a beautiful day it was yesterday. Now, to start, today's actually not too bad. Lots of sunshine, some comfortable temperatures. A live look at downtown Utica. Again, we got a pretty nice scene out there today. In fact, some very nice wispy clouds out in the distance. Now, as we look at the radar and satellite, we do have rain approaching, so again, it's not going to be a dry day like yesterday, but at least we have a window here of at least quiet conditions to start. When it comes to temperatures, now based off the fact that rain is arriving later in the morning, I do think we could actually reach the low to mid 70s if we're lucky, but again, it all depends on the amount of rain we see and the time frame as it begins to move in. Now, let's take a look at the rain chance here, because you see it starts out dry, it slowly increases as we head into the early part of the afternoon, and the evening, your evening commute likely going to be the rainiest time of the day. Now, with that arrival of this front here, notice we do have a risk, a level 1 out of 5 risk for severe weather indicated in this dark green zone. It has shifted north, just again, based off the fact the front is arriving later, allowing some more daytime heating and some instability to move in. So we're going to closely watch it. I don't think it's anything very alarming, but it's one of those instances where you always want to keep a close eye on these types of systems as they begin to move its way in. As always, you can download our Storm Tracker 2 weather app by scanning the QR code right below me right here. It'll give you warnings as they happen if anything does form, but again, we'll be on top of it throughout the day today. So that rain moves in the mid to late afternoon into the early evening. Following that, a few scattered rain showers on and off overnight. Then Friday, we start out with some clouds, maybe some scattered showers and maybe a few sprinkles. Sunshine moves in the afternoon. It's actually not too bad of a day to wrap up the work week. In fact, aside from maybe a spotty sprinkle up north, it's going to be pretty dry. Now, Saturday starts out with some sunshine. We do expect a mostly, in fact, almost entirely dry day. Now, you see here, we do run the risk of an isolated shower, mainly in the highest elevations in the Adirondacks. I'm thinking isolated locations in Hamilton County, but that's basically about it. The rest of us looking almost entirely dry. And that's the case heading into the second half of the weekend. Sunday also looking pretty dry. Monday, same story. Now, when it comes to next week, we're talking Tuesday, we're talking Wednesday, and eventually Thursday next week. We've got some storm chances. More importantly, we've got some warm weather coming in. We're looking at mid to upper 80s, higher humidity. It's going to feel like summer, Gary, as we get our final days of June coming in. July right around the corner. It'll feel like mid-July.
Yeah,
so
enjoy this while we have it, I guess.
that's right.
Eric, thank you. Brooks Barbecue down in Oneida for this half hour. After a great stretch of weather lately, we may be seeing some rain today. Meteorologist Eric Gay joining us now from the Weather Center. And Eric, when will that rain begin?
Not for a while, Gary. In fact, behind me, we've got dry conditions. So your morning commute, and even in the early afternoon, also looking dry. But let's take a look at what you can expect throughout your day today. Again, in your forecast in a minute. We begin with a live look from our tower cam. Now, at this point, you see a few clouds working in, some blue skies as well. Much of the cloud cover right now actually falling through the southern tier. Here in the Mohawk Valley, a lot more sunshine. But again, the big thing here is it's dry to start this morning. Temperatures begin right now in the mid-50s, up near 60 in Watertown and Syracuse. And other than that, though, it's going to be warming up a few more degrees this afternoon. More on that here in a second. So, again, rain returns this afternoon. It's not necessarily a washout, but we'll keep a close eye on shower and storm potential later today. As this point moves in, this weekend is looking rather pleasant. Maybe an isolated rain chance Saturday, but that rain chance very, very isolated. And then summertime heat is on the way as we move toward, say, the middle and end of next week. So if you're waiting for that summertime heat, well, it's going to slowly arrive. Again, today highs will be in the mid-70s. We're going to see clouds increase, rain chances increase. We're going to dive into the time frame of this rain, the storm risk, and what follows straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thank you. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. President Trump is trying to force...
Omni, cutting-edge surgery without the cutting.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to Sunrise on this Thursday morning. Our photo of the day today brings us to a foggy scene in Cooperstown. Let's take a look right here. This is a great shot sent in to us by Bob. We now have two Bob submissions in a row. Bob Joy yesterday. We have Bob Avery today. Again, what a beautiful foggy scene out here. And of course, we are in fog season. Anytime we get some rain the day before and we have some cooler temperatures, you get this type of beautiful scene. So shout out to those of you tuning in from Cooperstown this morning. And thank you to Bob for this amazing photo. If you have one like this you'd like to send to us, go to WKTV.com/weather/pics. That photo and every photo every morning brought to you by GPO Federal Credit Union. So, a live look at current temperatures this morning, mid-50s, low 50s. Either way, it is a not too bad of a start, dry one, if that, but we are tracking some rain arriving this afternoon. We'll have the details, the time frame, and everything you need to know to plan out your day coming up in that full forecast. Gary.
Eric, thanks. A New Hartford Elementary.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody, on this Thursday. What a beautiful day it was yesterday, and at least to start today, we're going to continue that trend. Now, if you just ignore the fact it's going to rain this afternoon, but either way, let's take a look at what to expect for your Thursday. Here's a live look at downtown Utica. A few passing clouds, sunshine still pretty prevalent here, and overall, we've got quiet conditions initially, but you can see that low pressure slowly approaching. It's going to take a little bit, and again, based off the latest trends, it looks like much of this rain is going to hold off until the afternoon, aside from maybe a stray sprinkle as you head farther south in this band right here. We'll watch that, but when it comes to conditions today, you can see highs will barely be in the mid-70s. It actually is trending a little warmer just based off of the later arrival time of this rain, which you can see here is mainly taking place in the afternoon hours. But either way, when it comes to storm risk, along with the rainfall, those of you that tuned in yesterday mentioned that there was a southern tier risk, and if that rain would arrive later, it would increase that storm potential and of course shift this area north. It's level 1 out of 5 though, so this is not very concerning. Still though, it's something to keep a close eye on later in the day today. Maybe a strong storm or two possible. Wind being the primary concern, but either way, great tool to have. Storm Tracker 2 app, you can scan it using the QR code here. If anything does warrant a warning, you'd be the first to know using that app. So on our Skycast today, after a dry start, the rain begins to work its way in. For the most part, what we see here in the Skycast, not a whole lot of concerning signals here, and just mainly a good soaking rain briefly, maybe some thunderstorms to the south. It does dry up briefly overnight, a couple of spotty showers here and there, and then after this front rolls through, it's going to be a sunny afternoon and evening Friday. You have any Friday evening plans? I mean, maybe a very, very isolated shower, but looking pretty dry. I would say the same thing for Saturday. We start out dry and sunny. Now, in the afternoon, you're going to see a couple of these pop-up showers, mainly in Hamilton County, northern Fulton County. But aside from that, it's looking like a very nice day for 95% of our area. So just a heads up that yes, there's a chance of a stray shower, but we're looking at an almost completely dry day. Sunday, same story. So far looking pretty dry. This weekend's looking very nice. Both weekend days. So if any events going on, any plans, any graduations, graduation parties, well, you got great weather for that. Then we turn up the thermostat and we turn up the humidity too next week. We're back into the mid 80s to upper 80s by Tuesday and Wednesday. A couple of spotty thunderstorms, but again, we're now going to be entering the summer, definitely feeling like summer season by next week.
Maybe that pool water will finally warm up, right?
I know, it's been so long.
Eric, thanks. Well, weight loss medic.
The news with Gary Lipitor and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Thursday morning. I'm Gary Lipitor.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
Boy, was it gorgeous out yesterday. Hopefully the same today, but you're tracking some rain, right?
Yeah, but the rain does arrive in the afternoon, so the morning itself,
Get out and walk,
bad.
right?
Yes, get out for a walk. Take your dog out for a quick walk because maybe the evening might be a bit on the rainy side. But yes, let's take a look at what you can expect throughout your day today in your forecast in a minute. Now we take a live look in just a second here in our tower cam. I'm going to face it in the eastern sky. So we're going to get a nice shot here of the Mohawk Valley and, of course, the rising sunshine there. Now, yes, we do have some passing clouds, but sunshine is pretty much the dominant factor here early today. Temperatures are hovering in the mid to low 50s. That's I would say, close to average start to your morning here for June standards. Other spots, upper 50s, low 60s. So again, not too bad temperature-wise. So what are we tracking? Well, we do have rain arriving later today. It's not going to be completely dry like yesterday's amazing weather. We do expect so far a very nice weekend, which will start Friday with some nice weather moving in. And then following that, there's a heat dome impacting a lot of the eastern half of the U.S. that will inevitably produce some warmer summer heat in our area starting next week. More on that here shortly. But again, today, highs will be in the 70s. Rain showers developing a bit later in the day. We'll track the arrival time of that, the storm risk, and what follows as we approach the weekend coming up in that full forecast. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Closing arguments are
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back. Time now is 6:10. Here's a look at what you can expect for your rest of your week when it comes to weather on the way. And of course, the next weather maker arrives today in the form of some low pressure, providing us with some afternoon rain showers. Not a washout by any means today, but just a heads up that roughly between 2 and maybe 5 and 6 o'clock, we've got some of that rain rolling through. After that, though, we have a couple of spotty showers and downpours overnight. Then Friday does look pretty dry. Stray shower possible. Same thing on Saturday, but the isolated rain chance, the keyword isolated, I want to emphasize that keyword because very, very low chance for a rain. 95% of the area will be entirely dry. Following that, though, eventually, as we look at the longer range, I mentioned that we'd be talking about a heat dome. This is the heat dome right here. High pressure rotating around this large area. Now, what this is going to do is, for one, increase our temperatures here, but not drastically. We're talking summer, typical summer temperatures. But we're looking at this northwest flow here, we unofficially call the ring of fire here. Basically, you've got an active path of potential storms to track there. None we're seeing right now, but we're going to closely watch it because if they do form, they've got a highway to move right over central New York. So we'll watch that next week. But again, we are tracking is some heat next week. And of course, the rain today, we're going to do a time, basically recap the time frame of that rain today coming up in that full forecast. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Well, strike up the band. It was
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. Time now 6:18. We are beginning your day today with some sunshine, continuing the beautiful stretch that took place yesterday. But I wish I had drier news for the afternoon. We have rain arriving. We'll get to that here in a second. Here's a look outside in downtown Utica. As you leave for work this morning, this is the scene you'll see, and you're not expecting anything in forms of rain or anything falling from the sky early this morning. So just a heads up, your morning commute, not too bad. We have high pressure that's slowly eroding. You can see the arrival slowly of some rain showers to our west. They won't really start to arrive until the early afternoon. Maybe a couple of stray sprinkles beforehand, but for now, it does look to be a mostly dry morning here locally. In fact, when it comes to that day planner, because of the slightly later arrival of this rain, the temperature is a little warmer in the low to mid 70s. I would say probably closer to low 70s with that cloud cover coming in. But again, that arrival of rain is later in the afternoon. And then following that, it will progressively dry up overnight tonight. So you see here, there is a larger area of a level 1 out of 5 risk for severe weather, which does end up here locally. And beyond that, that's mainly impacting western New York. So with that 1 out of 5 risk, it mainly indicates the possibility of some isolated hail and some stronger winds. I do think for our area, though, we're largely missing that possibility, but we're still going to keep a close eye on the arrival of this system. So either way, regardless of how it turns out, as always, if there's any storm risk, we always recommend downloading the Storm Tracker 2 weather app. It's below me. You can scan it at any point during this weathercast here. So when this rain rolls through this afternoon, we are expecting maybe some lingering showers heading into the evening and beyond. Then Friday starts out with clouds, maybe a passing shower here and there. The afternoon, it dries up. That will continue as we head closer to the evening and beyond. So at this point, if you guys are watching right now, this is new data coming in. I'm watching it with you here. I'm going to see how this pans out for Saturday. Again, it's looking pretty dry. There's a possibility of an isolated shower popping up in the Adirondacks. There it is right there. Once it exits, it's going to dry up yet again. So again, isolated rain chance Saturday, which is an extreme outlier. 90-95% of central New York will be dry for pretty much the entire weekend and primarily again on Friday. So not too bad of a stretch, Gary. And after that quiet weekend, we do have some warmth and some humidity returning next week. So summer will definitely be in the air Wednesday and Thursday next week.
Those 88s stand out, don't they?
Very warm.
Eric, thanks. Well, Brooks Barbecue in Oneonta, and thank you for joining us for this half hour on this Thursday. And after a great few days of weather, well, we may be finally seeing some rain again. Meteorologist Eric Gage joining us. And Eric, what time frame are we talking?
We're talking probably closer to the early afternoon, Gary. In fact, we got some rain behind me right now on our radar scans. In fact, let's take a look at what you can expect heading throughout your day today in your forecast in a minute. So first, we take a look, again, back at the current conditions outside right now because, yes, the rain is on our doorstep, but the doorstep is outside. So we have quiet, sunny conditions. Your morning commute, not too bad to get out to work early today. Temperatures also not too bad. We are still hovering in the low to mid 50s, some spots pushing near 60. A look at the radar, looking dry right now to our south and west. We're starting to see that rain begin to approach. And for now, a lot of this looks elevated. It doesn't look like it's reaching the ground, and the ground reports verify it. No weather stations right now, at least in western New York, reporting rainfall. So it's going to take a little bit for this to reach us. And again, we are thinking probably closer to the afternoon hours. You can see here a dry morning, rainy afternoon, temperatures peaking in the low to mid 70s. So after this rain chance we have this evening and a couple of scattered showers overnight, we actually are tracking a quieter stretch of weather toward the weekend, maybe an isolated rain chance, but we're going to break down all of that, including the timing coming up in that full forecast. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. President
Channel 2 is brought to you by Holland Farms Bakery and Deli. This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to Sunrise. Happy Thursday. Our photo of the day today brings us to Cooperstown in a very foggy scene sent in to us by Bob of a, again, beautiful scene there in the hills of a foggy morning. Of course, this is the foggy season here in central New York. We get a nice, decent rain, and then we cool down overnight, and this is the result. So, again, shout out to Bob, and shout out to those of you tuning in from Cooperstown and the surrounding area this morning. If you have a photo like this you'd like to send to us to showcase your neck of the woods, go to WKTV.com/weather/pics. That photo and every photo every morning brought to you by GPO Federal Credit Union. A live look at the radar right now. It does look initially dry. We are tracking the arrival of rain later this morning, or better yet, this afternoon. We'll be talking about that arrival time in a lot more detail and what to expect throughout the rest of your day straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. A New Hartford Elementary School.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Time now 6:49, and today we are starting out with some sunshine. Despite that, rain we're tracking later in the day. This first half of the morning, well, not too bad. Beautiful scene out there. You're heading out in your morning commute, you'll be witnessing lots of sun and dry weather. Look at that beautiful blue sky out in the distance. Now, despite that, as we look at the radar and satellite, well, we've got rain starting to approach, clouds starting to arrive. So this isn't going to last all morning. In fact, by the afternoon, we have the arrival of some of that rainfall. Now currently out toward the shores of Lake Erie, right around the Buffalo area. Today's temperatures actually climbing into the low 70s with that later arrival of rain, which, as you can see here, is expected to arrive mainly in the afternoon, right around 1 o'clock, and lingering through the evening commute time frame there, then slowly drying up. But still, when it comes to rain risk, there's also some storm risk here. If you look at a level 1 out of 5 risk for severe weather in the dark green zone here, extending a little bit more north today compared to yesterday. And I'll zoom in here. You guys can see what areas are mainly affected. And it mainly cuts off near Syracuse, heading out toward the Utica-Rome area. Now, these obviously are not well-defined lines. It doesn't mean that only in the dark green will you see severe weather, but it's kind of that middle ground here. What I can tell you right now is it doesn't look that impressive for anything storm-related, but if anything does turn in the strong side, the dark green zone is where that's possible. And if there's anything that does turn severe, our Storm Tracker 2 app will give you warnings direct to your phone as they happen. But again, as I mentioned, doesn't look too impressive today. Now look here in our Skycast, we have widespread rain coming in. This will remain in the upper 60s, low 70s. So not a whole lot of concerning ingredients in the atmosphere, mainly the instability part, which we're lacking. But after that, once we head into the overnight, a couple of thunderstorms roll through, mainly to the south. It does dry up a little bit. We have clouds and some patchy drizzle Friday morning. By the afternoon, sunshine works in, and we got highs in the 70s. A beautiful Friday on tap, only an isolated downpour in the Adirondacks. Saturday, starting out dry. It's almost an entirely dry day. The one exception is that passing downpour, again, mainly in the Adirondacks. So heads up for that as we head into Saturday. But again, for 95% of us, Saturday and Sunday looking pretty nice, sunny and warm. Overall, not too bad of a weekend. Then following the next few days, we've got some warmer summer-like conditions. We're in the mid to upper 80s and higher humidity. So now you finally get that heat and humidity. We're going to feel a lot more like July starting next week, Gary.
Those pool owners are looking forward to that, heating up that pool water.
Yeah, finally get to use them.
Eric, thank you. The Oneida County meteorologist Eric Gage joining us now. And Eric, simply gorgeous day up until this point, right?
Yeah, clouds starting to roll in, eventually some rainfall, but yes, it's been pretty pleasant up to this afternoon. Here's a look at our Cavity Tower camera. We do have some clouds slowly moving its way in, and on top of that, temperatures actually with that dry starts slowly increasing. We're in the 70s right now, 60s as you head out toward the western New York area, along with some rain showers. This is where that frontal boundary is starting to work its way in. And of course, you can see it along with that rainfall here on the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Heavy rainfall here out toward Rochester and Buffalo, heading south toward Bradford, Pennsylvania. As of now, not a whole lot of rumbles of thunder. There is a lightning bolt recorded in the northern portions of Pennsylvania, but again, here locally, it's just mainly rain at this point. The next 12 hours, we actually begin to cool down throughout the day in the wake of that rainfall because it moved through and continues maybe a stray thunderstorm this evening through tonight. Then tomorrow, we actually are tracking a much drier day, and will that linger into the weekend? We'll have the answer coming up in that full forecast. Gary?
Eric, thanks. 2 Rome men are facing charges.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today, after a dry start, rain is inevitably coming into our area, but it's not going to last too long. In fact, we do have some drier and warmer and sunnier days ahead. Live looking Old Forge, it's a balmy 72 degrees. Again, a little overcast now, but not too bad of a start to your day up in the North Country. Radar and satellite showing the arrival of that rainfall currently out in western New York right now. Again, when it comes to the storm risk, which I'll show here in a second, so far, not a whole lot of lightning being detected right now. Today's temperatures are actually peaking at this hour. We're actually going to slowly cool down as we head into the evening and overnight. Upper 50s, low 60s. So not too bad of a cool down, but again, when it comes to that rainfall, it really starts to move in as we head into the afternoon. And again, we have a brief passing shower as we head closer to sunset and beyond. So we zoom out. Here is the large area of a severe weather risk, mainly dark green zone, level 1 out of 5, yellow zone, level 2 out of 5. So you can see that the brunt of the severe weather risk well outside of our area, out toward Oklahoma, Kansas. But again, we're on the fringe of it right here. So despite that, with this level 1 out of 5 risk, I just don't really think we have too concerning of a system here. Just based off of the widespread rain already moving in, it's going to start gobbling up a lot of that instability. So regardless, we got a rainy afternoon on tap today. After that, though, we do dry up with a brief lull in the rain shower activity. Another round of rain, maybe some rumbles of thunder as we head closer to 8:30, 9 o'clock tonight. Once that exits, well, we slowly start to dry up. Friday, maybe some lingering drizzle, cloud cover to start, sunshine in the afternoon, maybe a stray shower in the Adirondacks. But beside that, it is going to be a mostly dry day to wrap up your work week. Saturday rolls around and it looks like a similar story, mainly with, again, a very isolated chance for the rain showers to develop in the Adirondacks. They're pop-up showers and they're very, if I want to have a better enunciation of the word isolated, chance. Most of the area, most of central New York, most of the North Country will be dry. Just those sudden downpours, possibly in sections of Hamilton County, certainly a possibility. But again, as we head into the weekend, it does look pretty pleasant. We're in the 80s. Humidity slowly increases, and we'll really start to feel that humidity as we enter next week. Monday, still looking dry, high of 83. Tuesday and Wednesday rolls around. We're in the mid to upper 80s, high temperatures, high humidity, and we're going to be entering that very July-like feel in the air, midsummer-like feel. And we're also going to watch the possibility of a few passing storms. And we'll get to the reason why we're keeping a close eye on that coming up in just a little bit. But again, today, Gary, it was a dry start. We have rain to track. But after today, it does look pretty nice heading into the weekend.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
Can't beat it, Gary.
Another nice weekend ahead. Eric, thank you. Well, millions.
Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis, a little bit of rain out there, huh?
Rain has returned. It is going to be wet this evening, but the weather is going to change in a pretty dramatic way as we look down the road. Next few days, we're going to be seeing a pretty big shift weather-wise, which is going to bring some summer heat. A wet evening, a cool evening. The rain took a little bit longer to get here, but it is here now, and it will be here for the rest of the evening. 67 degrees, the current temperature. The rain will continue for the next several hours. Rain will come to an end as we head into tonight. A generally nice weekend. Even tomorrow looks pretty nice. Can't rule out a shower, but I think the majority of it looks really nice. And if you have any outdoor plans, I don't think the rain is going to hold you back. And looking ahead, we've got some summer heat on the way. Temperatures are going to be well above average heading into early July. This evening, again, it's wet, it's cool. Temperatures are in the 60s, but again, we're expecting some pretty big changes in the weather. Got to look at the forecast coming up. Kristen, back to you.
The destruction in
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. A soggy evening is expected. Rain is going to continue. It does come to an end tonight. And looking ahead, everything points to warm, sunny, and eventually hot weather as we head into the next 7 days. Live look in downtown Utica. Again, it's just a dreary evening. Rain is going to continue. It did get here later. The first part of the day was actually pretty nice. We were thinking the rain was going to be here earlier, but that also means it's going to last longer. I think this is going to last for the rest of this evening and even into early tonight. But we do get a chance to dry out by tomorrow, and we're expecting the weather to remain dry heading into the weekend. A reminder, you can always get weather information on the go by downloading the Storm Tracker 2 weather app on a day like today. You can have access to the radar on your fingertips. We're tracking, again, just an isolated shower tomorrow. In general, the weather pattern looks pretty quiet. Temperatures will slowly warm up as we head into the next several days. Again, because of the rain, it's cooled off. We were in the 70s earlier, but we're now into a rain-cooled 60s and generally in the upper 60s. Westernville, 68 degrees, Outer Lake, 62. Hamilton, 61. Cooperstown, 69. Morris, 65. Unadilla, 64. This area of low pressure will continue to move east, and behind it, the weather does dry out. Again, just a brief shower is possible tomorrow, but in general, the weather looks to cooperate. Again, rain moves to the east. We'll pick up about a half an inch of rain total for most areas through tonight. And then as we head into Friday, it starts out with mostly cloudy skies, but high pressure builds in from the west, so we do get a chance to dry out and clear out. I expect to see some sunshine throughout the day. Temperatures will warm up. We'll be in the upper 70s. Just a very comfortable day. As we head into tomorrow night, the weather remains dry, partly cloudy skies. The weather system passes to the south Saturday. It might give us a few clouds from time to time, mixed with sunshine. Nice Saturday with temperatures in the low 80s. Looking ahead, there's going to be something called a heat dome. This is a ridge that happens in the summertime that produces hot temperatures, and it looks like our nation's midsection, the eastern half of the country, is going to bake. We're going to be on the fringe of this. We're not going to get the core of the heat. Looks like it's going to be to our west, but we will see some of this heading into the first week of July. That means temperatures will be hot in the upper 80s to near 90 degrees. Nothing record-breaking, but something that's you're going to want to be ready for. Rain ends tonight, low 59. Tomorrow, temperatures will be in the mid to upper 70s. An isolated shower, maybe a rumble of thunder, 76. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Beautiful weekend. Temperatures in the low to mid 80s. Next week gets hot. Temperatures in the upper 80s Monday and Tuesday. There will be a few pop-up thunderstorms each afternoon as we get into that classic summertime pattern, and also the humidity is way up, which means it's going to be very warm at night.
All right, Bill, thank you.
Yeah.
A mid-air.
Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
So we're looking at clouds this evening. This picture taken by Brian McDowell overlooking Utica earlier this afternoon. You can see they kind of look ominous. These are called undulatus asperatus clouds. So what's happening here is you've got two different layers of the atmosphere where the winds are changing direction, and that's why it's giving that curl look to the clouds. They're harmless, but again, they are pretty cool to look at. And again, often a sign of rain or rain approaching, and that's what we're dealing with this evening. There is no severe weather with this. There's not even any thunder or lightning, and I think that's going to be the case here for the rest of this evening. So steady rain will continue to move through, and we'll get a chance to dry out. For those of you wondering, where's this summer heat? It's on the way, and it is going to come in big time next week. We're looking at temperatures in the upper 80s, likely near 90 degrees for a couple of days, especially as we turn the calendar into early July. So it's on the way. Again, it's going to be here for a good portion next week. This evening, rain continues. Not the best weather to take the dog out, but if you are going out, keep the umbrella handy. Temperatures will be in the 60s. Tonight's featured dog, Nova Lynn from Afreda. If you want to be part of this, head to Skycast WKTV on Facebook. This is brought to you by Nissan. Kristen, back to you.
Bill, thank you. The men's U.S.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're tracking widespread rain moving through central New York. It took a little bit longer to get here than we were expecting, but it's here, and it'll be here for the rest of this evening. Live look at Oneonta. Live look at our Yorkville battery. Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. You can see we're in the thick of it now. Lots of yellow showing up. That's moderate rain, and that's for most of central New York. The back edge is towards Syracuse. This is moving from west to east. So a few more hours of steady rain. We'll see some lingering sprinkles and some patchy fog early tonight, and then eventually this will move out. And the stage is set for some very nice and much warmer weather as we get into the rest of the week. We're getting into lightning bug season. They tend to come out a lot in late June to early July. I don't expect to see many out tonight, mainly because of the weather. I think the rain will keep them at bay, and also the cooler weather, but they're going to like the weather next week as we get hot and humid. I think we're going to see a whole bunch of them as we head into early July. A reminder, you can always get weather information on the go by downloading our Storm Tracker 2 weather app. In addition to weather alerts, you can always get access to the radar. As we take a look at the rain chances, just an isolated shower. I know there's a lot of high school graduations and graduation parties this weekend. The weather is looking good. I'm not expecting anything significant. An isolated shower at best here. In general, we're going to get into a very dry and hot weather pattern heading into next week. Skywatcher checking in. Whitesboro 74 degrees, Barneveld 65, Old Forge 62, Jeff and Mohawk 67, Cooperstown 67, Worcester with 70. This area of low pressure swings through tonight. In the wake of it, we do get a chance to dry out tomorrow. And again, can't rule out an isolated shower. We're going to be on the backside of leftover low pressure. But we will see a decent amount of sunshine here over the next couple of days. Tonight, rain comes to an end. Overnight lows will be in the low 60s to upper 50s. It's a cloudy start to Friday and kind of gloomy in the morning, but I do expect to see sunshine. Temperatures make their way into the 70s in the afternoon. Tomorrow night, the weather remains dry. We're down into the 50s. And Saturday looks pretty nice. A few extra clouds during the day as the system passes to the south. It's dry throughout the day. Temperatures in the low 80s. A heat dome builds next week. We're looking at hot weather moving into central New York. While the worst of it looks to be to the south and west, I don't think we'll escape the heat this time around. Rain ends tonight, low 59. Tomorrow, partly sunny skies, an isolated shower, maybe a rumble of thunder, 76. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Sunshine over the weekend, highs in the low to mid 80s. Monday we're up to 87, and then it gets hot and humid. Temperatures close to 90 degrees with a few pop-up showers and storms Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We'll be right back.
With Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Rain has moved in this afternoon, and it's going to be a soggy evening across central New York. We can see the back edge of the rain working into Syracuse, but it's going to be around for at least the next couple of hours. Again, a steady soaking rain continues this evening. Temperature has cooled down to 66. We were in the 70s before the rain has arrived. Looking ahead, everything points to warmer, drier, and eventually some hot weather as we head into next week. So in the meantime, again, we're dealing with rain this evening and tonight. Weather looks nice heading into the weekend. I know there's a lot of high school graduations and parties going on. I think for the most part, the weather cooperates. And then tracking some summer heat on the way for next week. Temperatures in the 60s this evening, rain. We're tracking that warm up. We'll look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. Micron, the company.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. It's a dreary evening across central New York as steady soaking rain continues to move through. There's an end in sight, though. And live look in downtown Utica, the rain continues to fall, and it is widespread at least for the next couple of hours. We can see the back edge of this rain approaching Syracuse. So a few more hours away, this will start to lighten up. I think it'll be closer to sunset by the time we'll start to get to dry out. There's still some patchy drizzle and even some fog is expected on the backside of this for tonight. By tomorrow, most of this is done, and again, we're expecting drier and warmer weather ahead. Take a look at these clouds. This was taken over Utica today by Brian McDowell. These are called undulatus asperatus clouds. It's caused by two different layers of air with winds in different directions. They look kind of ominous, but they don't really do much weather-wise. Reminder, you can always get weather alerts to your phone by downloading our Storm Tracker 2 weather app. Slight chance of a shower tomorrow, especially in the afternoon, but overall, the weather pattern looks pretty nice going forward. I know there's a lot going on this weekend with high school graduations and graduation parties. At this point, I think the weather's going to generally cooperate. Whitesboro, 74 degrees, Micah, New Hartford, 68, Cassville, 67, Ilion, 66, Jeff and Mohawk, 67, Cooperstown, 67, Hartwick, 64, Worcester checks in with 70. Low pressure continues to move to the east. We'll get the leftovers of this tomorrow. Again, just a slight chance of a shower. And then we start to warm up beginning this weekend. If rain moves out tonight, overnight lows drop down into the upper 50s. Tomorrow starts out with cloud cover, but we should see some sunshine heading into the afternoon. It's going to allow for temperatures to climb into the upper 70s. We are dry tomorrow night. A few clouds start to work in as the weather system passes to the south. Weather looks dry over the weekend. Saturday, looking at mostly sunny skies. Temperatures climb into the low 80s. And then that warm-up is going to continue. We've got a heat dome that builds to our west. This is looking at the long-range weather patterns, the upper-level wind flow heading into early July. And this big area of red indicates something called a heat dome. That's going to happen in the eastern part of the country. We're going to be on the fringe of this. So we do get hot, but it's going to be much hotter to our south and west. This overall weather pattern could give us a heat wave heading into the end of next week. Rain ends tonight, low 59. Tomorrow, looking at partly sunny skies, an isolated shower, maybe a rumble of thunder, 76. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. The weather looks nice over the weekend. Low 80s Saturday, mid 80s Sunday, partly sunny skies. Monday, we're up to 87. The humidity starts to build Tuesday, and we are going to see some pop-up showers and thunderstorms close to 90 degrees Wednesday and Thursday.
Bill, thank you.
Still to come on News Channel 2 at 16. Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis. These are some amazing clouds. What was the name? You caught Kirsten and I off guard at 5 today. We went, wait, what?
Undulatus asperatus. That's the name of the cloud.
That's impressive.
So they changed the name to asperitas because people can't say Undulatus asperatus. Gee, I don't know why. Anyway, these are roll clouds. They are formed during, there's two different layers of the atmosphere, and the winds are moving in different directions. So they're actually harmless.
But they look ominous.
Yeah, they look very ominous. They look kind of scary. This picture from Brian McDowell in downtown Utica. Appreciate that. So the head of those clouds were ahead of what we saw as rain today, and that was it. It's just been raining for most of the day. In fact, it's been raining so much, Griffiths at Rome decided it's done. Look at that rain that will be coming to an end tonight. Should be a beautiful weekend. Tomorrow, just a small chance of a shower. The heat is building across the Northeast. That's the big story going forward is we've got some summer heat on the way, and it's going to be gradual. I know on a chilly day like today, you may be thinking, summer's over. We're never going to have summer. Well,
Wrong.
This is why we don't take things for granted here, that the weather is going to change. And in fact, next week, some of you are going to wish that you didn't say that. Temperatures will be in the upper 80s here Monday and Tuesday, and it's going to get even hotter heading into Wednesday and Thursday. Tonight, overnight lows drop down to the upper 50s. Pretty comfortable night. Open up the windows, leave the air conditioner off. You're going to be using it a lot next week. We're going to look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're taking a live look in downtown Utica. It's just been a soggy day, or at least a soggy back half of the day. The first part of the day was dry, and then the rain moved in, and we're still seeing the leftovers of some rain here tonight. But I am also watching this clump of thunderstorms just north of Oswego. This will likely move into the North Country. We could see a rumble of thunder with that. And there's a chance for thunderstorms tonight, relatively low though. Lightning bugs are starting to come out. It's that time of the year. They're usually out in late June to early July, and it takes very warm and very humid nights for the lightning bugs to really come out. So tonight you might see a few flashes, but I don't think you're going to get a really good light show. Next week is going to be a very different story. I think we're going to see a lot of lightning bugs coming out with some of the warm and very humid weather upon us. Reminder, you can always get weather information on the go, including the Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar by downloading our Storm Tracker 2 weather app. An isolated shower tomorrow. The weather is looking generally dry heading into the weekend and beyond, with a very big change in the weather pattern expected. Today's area of low pressure is now moving to the east. Again, it's been a cool afternoon. We do get a chance to dry out. We're also keeping an eye on some scattered storms to the west. These will be with us late tonight. In general, the weather does dry out as this area of low pressure swings through. The weather does improve for Friday. Again, some showers will be upon us tonight, and they do come to an end. Overnight lows drop down into the upper 50s. Friday morning looks kind of dreary in the morning, mostly cloudy skies. We should see some sunshine, and that's going to help temperatures climb into the upper 70s. Tomorrow night, the weather looks dry. A system passes to the south, and it could give us a few clouds. But in general, we've got a nice stretch of weather that's expected into the weekend. Saturday starts out with High temperatures in the upper 50s. We'll climb into the low 80s, mostly sunny skies. And then get ready for summer. We've got some high heat on the way. A big heat dome develops just to our west. Hottest temperatures across the eastern half of the country. It does include parts of the Northeast, including central New York. Could see a heat wave here beginning Tuesday and lasting through probably Thursday, maybe into Friday, just depending on how long this area of this heat dome lasts. Tonight, rain comes to an end, a low of 59. Tomorrow, partly sunny, an isolated shower or rumble of thunder, a high of 76. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Beautiful weekend is expected, low 80s Saturday, mid 80s Sunday. We're into the upper 80s Monday. The humidity isn't too bad into early next week. It's not until Tuesday that the humidity really starts to crank. We're going to see the chance of showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures close to 90. It's going to feel a lot warmer with that, with the heat index, with some pop-up showers and storms. So we'll be right back.
Now for a first look at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis. These look like, let's say, ominous clouds. You say they're not. Why?
Well, it's just the environment that they form in. It's relatively stable air, believe it or not. These are called undulatus asperatus clouds. So it's not the same as thunderstorms where the air is really, really rapidly rising. The air just isn't moving all that much. This picture from Brian McDowell, taken in Utica earlier today. And of course, after those clouds rolled through, we had plain rain. Just a steady soaking rain again today. With another cooled afternoon. Griffiths and Rome down for the time being. Last time we checked, it was close to 60 degrees. Rain ends tonight. We've got a beautiful weekend ahead. Might see a shower or thunderstorm tomorrow, but the odds are relatively low. The big story going forward is the heat and humidity that will be building as we head into next week. I know a lot of people have been asking, where is summer? Where's the hot weather that we typically get? Well, it is on the way, and we are looking at a significant change in the weather here over the next 7 days. It's in the 70s tomorrow, but the rest of the next 7 days will be spent in the 80s and close to 90 as we head towards Wednesday and Thursday of next week with increasing levels of humidity. Tonight, enjoy another comfortable night sleeping. Overnight lows drop down into the upper 50s. Again, that's going to be changing this week, too. We're going to look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Thank you. Immigration battles were intense.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're taking a live look in downtown Utica. It's been a dreary second half of the day. We've been tracking widespread rain, but things have quieted down. This is a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. The rain is now moving east into the Albany area. We are keeping an eye to the west. We've been noticing a couple of pop-up showers to the west that we could see one or two of these tonight. In general, the weather does look pretty quiet, and the stage is set for some really warm weather going forward. The lightning bugs are starting to come out. It's that time of the year. It's usually late June to early July. They're not going to be super active tonight because of the weather. With the rain that we had and the cool temperatures, they like the heat and humidity. They're going to be really active next week. I think we're going to have a lot of lightning bugs with some very warm and very humid conditions, some very warm nights ahead. Reminder, you can always download our Storm Tracker 2 weather app. You can have access to the radar on the go. Very helpful on days like today. An isolated shower is possible tomorrow, but in general, the weather looks dry. We're going to get out of this wet weather pattern that we've been in recently. We're tracking low pressure that has swung through today. We're on the backside of this late tonight into early Friday, but all of this is moving to the east. And again, the weather is expected to clear out. So again, any lingering showers tonight come to an end. Friday morning starts out pretty gloomy. I think it's cloudy in the morning, but we expect sunshine to break out and stick with us throughout the rest of the day. Temperatures will climb into the upper 70s. Very slight chance of a shower, maybe a rumble of thunder, but I don't think it's going to cause any problems. As we head into tomorrow night, the weather remains partly cloudy. It looks nice on Saturday. A few extra clouds, especially south of the Mohawk Valley from time to time as a weather disturbance passes to the south. It should be a beautiful afternoon Saturday with high temperatures in the low 80s. Looking ahead, a significant shift in the jet stream is expected. Something called a heat dome is going to build across the eastern half of the country. What that means is very hot weather builds into the eastern half of the country. We're on the fringe of this. We're not in the center of it, but we are going to feel the effects of it. And if this ends up shifting just a little bit further to the east, it could be really hot here in central New York. At this point, more typical summertime heat, highs in the upper 80s, close to 90 degrees. The heat index, though, could get very high, mid to upper 90s later next week. Rain ends tonight, low of 59. Tomorrow, partly sunny and isolated shower storm, 76. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. And temperatures on the rise, low 80s Saturday, mid 80s Sunday, partly sunny skies, a beautiful weekend. Monday, we're up to 87. Hazy, hot and humid, temperatures close to 90 and close to a heat wave as we head into the middle of next week. We'll be right back.